started last year two heartbreakers against this Nevada team. One in double overtime there, one in the back down Keenan Blackshear finish. What do you think about how much last year's two games affect your guys' prep this year?
As far as affecting our prep, I mean, we were gonna learn from what happened last year, how we defended them, how we scored against them, but we don't need no extra motivation, for this game, just because we haven't won, we haven't beaten this team, so our preparations is going to be the same as any other Mountain West team. Every Mountain West team is dangerous in this conference, so we're gonna go and prepare about it for today, and we'll get better.
How tough is that two-game road trip that you guys just went on? Because you're playing, you go from this environment to playing in front of buildings that don't have a lot of life.
It's exciting. I mean, we've been big on creating our own energy and just creating our own identity and just being together and being with each other. So it's exciting. We're excited to get the pit back rocking. In this big stretch of games coming up in January and February. So we're excited.
Mash, you guys are riding a lot of momentum right now these last 4 games. What changed, do you think, on the court, San Diego State versus to how you guys are playing now?
I would say, honestly, we've attacked practice, the right way. We're talking to each other the right way. I would say, the big difference is just our connectivity on the court. I mean, we're all talking to each other. Like we're all going to make mistakes. But it's about talking through those mistakes and saying the right things to each other. So I think we're doing that at a tremendous level right now. So if we can keep doing that, keep connected, and keep the spirit of the team, I think we'll be just fine.
You guys are in the thick of conference right now. As a competitor, what's your favorite part of playing in conference games? Because it's kind of a different level.
That's a good question. I love playing just games. I mean, even the non-conference for me is great, but I mean, conference is just, it gives a little bit of a different edge to it, just because it's so much meaningful games. We're playing, a lot of teams are playing for March, a lot of teams are playing for championships, and that's what we're playing for. So, as a competitor for me, it's great, and this is the best time for basketball for me, and I'm having the best time of my life.
You guys haven't played a lot of teams with really big guards yet this year, and obviously that's what you're going to face this game. What's the adjustment that you personally, and just you guys as 3 guards that are 6'2" and shorter, have to make when you're playing a team with big guards?
Guard them. I mean, simple as that. I mean, there ain't no X's and O's for that. I mean, we're out there. We're gonna scrap. We're gonna be tough, and we just got to guard them. Simple as that.
I know you and Coach have both said this year that if you're going to play a 3-guard lineup with your guys' height, you guys just have to be scrappy, right? And you guys have to do what you were just saying. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed a difference? Did you guys have to make any adjustment? Because you guys are doing it more than you were last year.
Yeah.
What changed? Is it just the fact that you have to do it?
Yeah. I mean, we got to do it. I mean, in order for us to win, and I think every team who's a good college basketball team, they have a good guards that can scrap, and whether they're small or not, that doesn't really matter. But that defensive side of the ball is so important. Keeping the ball in front, rebounding, and those things we have been doing. So if we continue to do that, we'll be just fine. We'll be just fine.
Now, going off that, last year's team defensively was vulnerable in some places, but now we're talking about you guys might have one of the best defenses in the country. Mm-hmm. Is it just a matter of personnel, or is it a mindset? What is the difference between this year and last year?
I would say a mindset for sure. I mean, I think this team, ever since I've gotten here, we've been, pretty good offensively. Our numbers have always been, pretty good. But it's the defensive end that we really needed to, pick up, and rebounding and stuff. And I think the way we've gone about practice this year and how we've started the summers and just training camp, our mindset is definitely focused on defense. We have a lot of offensive-minded guys, but if we can just focus that on the defensive end, we'd be, we're going to be light years ahead of teams. So
to kind of go off of that, defense has been kind of the thing the whole season. But I noticed the last few games, it looks like you guys are able to communicate a lot on defense. You guys are covering a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Things look a lot more smooth, it seems. What's been working as of late these last few games?
Honestly, I mean, like you said, just the connectivity piece. We're all connected, man. I mean, when we hedge a ball screen, or when our bigs hedge, we know that we need to have backline help, and we do that every single time. It's because we practice that. We think we're at our best defensively when we have Nelly out there hedging and he's active and he can get his hands, in the passing lanes and stuff. So we've noticed that we're good defensively when he's doing that, and we're flying around helping each other. So when we're active and, helping each other, that's when we're at our best defensively. So.
We asked Coach about Nelly, specifically with his steals. He wants to a big man creating that kind of turnover margin on the outside. What is it about his game that allows him to do that?
Man, he's athletic. He's agile. I mean, he's very light on his feet for a 6'10", 6'11" guy, and he's very good with his hands. I mean, he's able to guard guards on the perimeter. I know he hasn't really shown that yet, but he can. I mean, he can really sit down and guard a 6'2" guy on the perimeter and make it tough for him. So he's a huge piece for us defensively, interior and on the perimeter. Like I said, we're at our best when he's hedging ball screens and when he's aggressive and not in foul trouble, obviously. But he's special in that regard. Special.
What can you tell us about him, more personality-wise? In the locker room, on the court when none of us are around, and practice like that. What kind of guy is Nelly like?
Man, he's a great dude. I mean, he's really chill. He's quiet, very quiet demeanor. Likes to stay to himself. But I've been able to kind of, he's my roommate, so we've been able to talk and have open dialogue and conversations and share stories about one another. And he has a great story, man. He's a hard worker. Coming from Iona, he's coming from a tough program. With Rick and so he's a tough kid, man. So. There's a lot more that you probably have to ask him for him to open up, and I'll let him do that. But I mean, he's a character, man. He's a really good dude.
He has a really deep, kind of hearty laugh. If you get him to laugh like he did once, was it just last week? Here, it's funny to see him laugh because he's
yeah,
almost like a Santa Claus to him.
No, yeah, he's funny. He's funny. He's a good dude.
The talk of being in the top 25. This team's starting to get the national attention that you guys kind of got a little bit last year. I mean, does it change anything when you're in the locker room? Just because maybe does it allow you guys to puff out your chest a little bit?
Not really. I mean, we don't man. We got in the top 25 last year, and then we lost it. At one point. So we don't really care about that, man. We know we're gonna get talked about. Like for example, I remember in the Utah State game, our fans was chanting "overrated" to them, and I was like, nah. They're not overrated. Stop saying that because they're a good team. We just beat them that day. They're a good team, though. They're a really good team. So I think we have a really good team. We know that from the beginning. We just got to keep being humble about the process and just keep going.
Mash, I wanted to follow up on something I asked you after a recent game. We saw it. You mentioned communication. The ball screen stuff that you guys are doing, it doesn't happen by accident. You talked about practicing it, but we saw you after one of those coverages got messed up defensively, and while they were shooting free throws, you and House and Nelly were going over the coverage, and then in a timeout after that, you guys are continuing to talk about that coverage, and it, you came to a meeting of the minds. How does that evolve for a team where the communication can be that good, where you guys don't have egos about it, and you just want to get it right?
Yeah, I mean, it starts really with in our training camp and in our summers, and just how we wanted to go about talking to each other. We're able to have those tough conversations because we're gonna disagree with each other. It's human nature, to disagree with each other. You're not gonna agree on everything. So, but it's being able to communicate it thoroughly and clearly, and be able to talk about it and be able to move on and just get better. That's what we were doing. I mean, we were up by I forgot how many points we were up at that time, but we wanted to get it right. I mean, we know we're playing for something bigger than what's coming January. I don't know what date it is right now, but we're playing for something bigger. So we want to make sure that we're clear on things and clear on coverages, clear on matchups, schemes, whatever the case may be. So we're connected in all areas.
Health-wise, how do you feel? I think Wednesday looked as smooth and Mashburn-like from the previous couple of years as I think I've seen you really all year. Did it feel different to you?
Not really. I mean, I'm holding up. I'm good. I've been dealing with stuff all year. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be health-wise with this thumb. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming off a little bit of a flu, so I've been dealing with stuff all year, but that's life. I mean, you're gonna have to wake up and do things, and even when we're not feeling like doing it, and you're gonna still have to produce. So I'm feeling good. So with that question, I'm feeling good.
I think we probably talked about this a little bit last year, and probably the year before, but Craig Neal and Steve Alford coming in here. I know that doesn't really affect the players so much, but when you're out and about, do you ever hear fans just talking about the Nevada matchup and specifically doing that?
Sometimes. I mean, I know in years previously they've definitely talked about that. Last year, I haven't heard much this year, but I know definitely a little bit of talk here and there, but not much.
You think people are past that a little bit?
I think so. I mean, I really don't know, honestly. I think so.